Okay, so let's make a start. Let's come and stand with our feet hip distance apart. So we want to feel those 3 points of contact with the mat. So big toe, little toe and heel. Soft bend through the knee. So we're standing tall now through the spine, allowing the head to float on top. So imagining that little tennis ball between the chin and the chest. So I want you to imagine you've got a helium balloon at the top of your head and it's pulling you up towards the ceiling. So feel that space come between each of the vertebrae of the spine. Arms just relax down by the side, shoulders are back and down. So just finding now the position with our pelvis. So just coming into pelvic neutral. So we want to turn the tailbone under, so flattening now through the lower back. Coming through that midway point, turning the tailbone up, so we're finding that lordotic curve in the low back. So just taking that backwards and forwards, just starting to mobilize now through the lumbar spine. Resting in that midway point of neutral. So we're going to mobilize today from top down to toe, so getting a bit of a full body workout, but focusing on some of the classic Pilates movements. So kind of working up from the basic foundations of each movement and then taking it up to the full movement. So you can just pick the levels that you're comfortable working with. So inhaling through our noses, we're going to fire up our core chamber, so the center of all of our activity. So you exhale, feel the rib cage relaxing. So going into our lateral breath. Inhale, feel the rib cage expand. Exhale, feel the rib cage soften down, squeezing all the air out of the lungs. Blowing through the mouth as if you're blowing on a straw. Inhale. Exhale again through the mouth. This time starting to pull the tummy button in towards the spine. So starting to fire up those abdominals. So finding that core connection as you exhale. So we want about 1/3 of our full contraction. So we want to maintain that engagement throughout the session. Last exhale now, let's pull in those pelvic floor muscles. So remember, imagine standing in cold water. It's that bracing sensation within the pelvis. Last inhale, exhale, let's bring it all together. So as we inhale now, we're going to turn the head towards the right shoulder, so looking over that shoulder. As we exhale, let's begin to drop the chin towards the chest, so mobilizing first through the neck. Waking up that cervical spine at the top of the back. Inhale at the opposite side, exhale, let's drop the chin towards the chest. So just keeping our posture throughout, so keeping long through the spine, that balloon is still pulling us up. So just exhaling again to drop the chin towards the chest, just slow with control to feel each part of that movement. Inhale, exhale, let's take it around the other way again. Inhaling the head now back to center, so we're bringing that tennis ball back under the chin. Inhaling here as we exhale, let's lift the shoulders up towards the ears. So now starting to mobilize through the shoulders and the thoracic spine. Exhale to lift, really squeeze the shoulder blades. As we inhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades down the back. So again, just working here at your own pace, coordinating the movement with the breath. Exhale, lifting those shoulders up towards the ears. Feel the weight of the arms. Inhale, bringing it back down. Last one. Inhale, let's bring it down. Tummy button is coming in towards the spine. We're now going to inhale the arms wide, bringing the hands up towards the shoulders. So we've got our upper arms as our lever. Inhaling here as we exhale, we're just going to start circling the arms backwards. So starting to work through that ball and socket joint within the shoulder. So keeping the tummy button engaged here as well. So as we take the arms back, we don't want to be arching through the spine. We want to keep that neutral spine. So just isolating through that shoulder joint. Inhale, let's bring it back to center. Exhale, let's take it round the other way now. So inhaling as you come out of the movement, exhaling on the effort. Exhale, let's do one more this way. Back to center. If you're happy with this level, you can stay there. Otherwise, we're going to take the arms long. So we've got a larger lever to work with now. Inhaling here as we exhale, let's start to circle the arms backwards. So imagining you've got a pencil on your middle finger and we're drawing pretty circles in the air. So think about working the hands in opposition, so being pulled towards opposite ends of the room. So really lengthening here through the arms. Last one now to the back. Let's come and rest in that neutral position as we inhale. Exhale, let's take it round the other way, keeping long through the spine. As we exhale, keep that tummy button pulled in, always coming back to that core engagement. Inhale, we're going to keep the arms long for a moment. As we exhale, we're going to turn the palms out towards the wall, so tilting the fingers back towards the wrists, so feel that tension within the wrists. Inhale back to center. As we exhale, we're going to drop the fingers down towards the floor, so lengthening through the top of the wrists. We'll do a couple more of those each way, keeping the heel of the hand pushed towards the wall. Back to center, exhale. Inhale it down now, a bit tricky than it looks this. So we're going to rest here again. So inhale. As we exhale, I want you to imagine you've got a pair of concrete trousers on, so your hips don't move. So we're just isolating here through the waist. As we exhale, we're going to push one hand towards one side of the room. Inhale back to center, exhale the other way. So almost as if you're trying to detach your upper body from your lower body. Bit of an odd image, but it kind of makes sense. Back to center, exhale. So reaching a little further each time if you can, keeping control of the hips. Last one each side, exhale. Inhale back to center, exhale, last one. Bringing it here, we just want to drop the arms, give them a little bit of a roll. We're going to take them back up again. So taking the arms long, stretching towards opposite ends of the room. Again, imagining those concrete trousers, so just working through the waist. Inhale here, feel the rib cage expand. As we exhale, we're going to rotate towards one side. So allowing the head to follow the spine, keeping that hip pushed forward, so keeping the hips level. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, so keeping the hands hovered here. So don't want the arms to start dropping down, so keeping control of the arms. As we come back to center, we're going to bring the hands up towards the shoulders. Same movement again, but with less of a lever. You're working more here into the spine to control the movement. Inhale back to center. Exhale it round the other way, really squeezing the air out of the lungs. Last one, we're bringing the hands into the chest, so a little bit of respite for the arms, tucking those elbows in. Inhaling here as we exhale, let's take it round the other way. Inhale it back to center. Exhale, last one. Feel that spine start to mobilize through rotation. Gently lower the arms down, give them a little bit of a shake. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit into the thighs now. So moving down from our arms and our torso into our hips and our thighs. So going into our chair sit, and we're going to add a little bit of arm movement as well. So just coming to rest in neutral, so keeping that tailbone tucked under. Just placing the hands on the thighs for now, otherwise imagining that your back is resting against a wall. Inhaling here, feel the rib cage expand. As we exhale, we're going to dip down, so taking the knees over the toes, keeping the heels pushed down to the floor. Inhale, bring it back to center. Feel that spine lengthen, that balloon pulling us up towards the ceiling. Exhale, take it down. Pelvic floor starts to work here, so bringing that lift up to the first floor. Inhale, back to center. Last one. Bringing it back to center now. So now we've got to grips with the movement within the knees. We want to keep that control of the movement. We're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height. Inhaling here as we exhale, as we dip, we're going to rotate round. So taking our leading arm down and the arm behind us is coming up to ear height. Inhale it back to center. Exhale. So working here on our coordination and rotational control of the pelvis. Back to center. Exhale it down. So the knees are coming forward, don't allow the legs to rotate around with the spine. So keeping those headlights on the front of your hip bones, pointing forward. Coming tall through the spine in between. Exhale, let's take it down. Back to center. Dipping down a little further each time if you can. Keeping the knees parallel, so don't allow the knees to roll in towards each other. Keep that control of the muscles in the tops of the thighs. Exhale. Bring it now back to center. Just circle the arms behind you if you need to. Just a little bit of a release for the arms. So we're now going to shift our weight onto one foot, but just keeping this position of the legs. Hands can come onto the hips or into prayer position, wherever you need them to be to balance. So finding those 3 points of contact on the supporting leg. So we inhale, we're going to take the other leg forward. So just taking it into that single plane. Finding that level, that stability within the hips. As we exhale, we're going to circle that leg behind us. Inhale at the back. Exhale, let's bring it forward. So make the circles a little bit smaller if you're struggling to balance. Otherwise, try to take the full length of the leg around in your circle. Exhale. Inhale here, exhale it round. Strong through that supporting leg. Notice the engagement of the abdominals and how it makes the movement a lot smoother and a lot more controlled. We'll do one more each way. Exhale. Inhale here, exhale round to center. Bring the feet together, just a little dip through the ankles. So swapping now onto the opposite side, so shifting the weight onto the 3 points of your opposite foot. Inhale, let's take that opposite foot forward. Just find your balance, find your foundation. As we exhale, let's take that foot behind us, really squeezing here through the glute muscles to help with that movement. So we're just isolating here through that ball and socket joint within the foot. Challenging our balance as well, so finding that point of focus in the distance. Keeping that tummy button pulled in, spine is long. Just allowing the hip to do the work here. Exhale. Inhale back to center. We'll go for one more. Let's make it a good one. Take it long behind you. Exhale, bring it back to center. Just give your knees a little bit of a bend and a shake around. Circle the ankles if you need to. Okay. So we're going to work on our legs again. Doing the bicycle movement. This is normally done on the side, but it's a good one for challenging balance and getting the hip mobilized as well. So again, just find your foundation, your base of support in one leg. So inhale, we're just going to lift the heel of the opposite foot off the floor. So just find that balance on your toe. Long through the spine, again, pelvis is in neutral. Inhale here as we exhale, we're going to circle the leg forward. So imagine that you're riding your bike. So taking it through that circular motion, bringing the foot up behind if you can as you come to the back. Again, just finding that point of focus in the distance, keeping those abdominals active, pulled in. Last one. Really working here through the full motion of the hip. Bring it back to center. So we'll swap onto the other side. So finding those 3 points of contact again. Inhaling just to lift up onto the toes on your active leg. As we exhale, let's bring that knee up towards the hip. Taking it around in its circle. So just moving at your own pace, so control and precision of the movement are more important than speed. So slow it down, think about everything working together. Keep that point of focus. Let's do one more. Last one, back to center, bring the feet together again, dip down if you need to. A little bit trickier, that one. So well done. We're now going to walk the feet out to the side. So just take them as far as you're comfortable that you can maintain your balance. So coming into your neutral pelvis again. So we want that natural little arch in the lower back. Your hands can either be on your hips or you can take them out in front of you. So we're going to go into a hip hinge here. So we want a little soft bend in the knee, natural rotation of the hip, just to engage these muscles here at the outside of the bum. So inhaling here, spine as long as we exhale, the hinging here from the waist. So we're keeping the spine in its neutral position, just coming to rest in that tabletop position. Feel the length here through the spine, reaching forward with the head. Inhale here as we exhale, let's come back up to standing. Keeping the arms nice and steady. Going back into neutral as we come up to standing. Inhale as we exhale, let's take it over again. So allow the exhale to last for the whole of that movement, providing that additional support to the midsection. Inhale. As we exhale, let's lift up again. So we're hinging through the waist. Last one, inhale. Exhale, let's take it forward. So keeping the spine rigid here, just isolating through the joints within the hips. Inhale, exhale, last one. So using those spine extensors to bring us back up to standing. Lowering the arms down, we can come onto the hips if you want to. We're just going to stretch out the inside of the thighs. So we're going to take one knee over the toes. Feel that stretch on the back leg. Take it a little bit wider if you want to go a bit deeper. Just enjoy this stretch for a couple of breaths. Inhale, let's take it back. Exhale, let's go the other way. So the deeper you go, the deeper the stretch. So we should be feeling it on the inside here of the thigh onto the adductor muscles. Bringing it back to center. Let's walk the feet together. So we're now going to come and stand at the end of our mat. So we're going to go into our roll down. So working through the full length of our spine. So coming to stand at the end of your mat, finding neutral again. So that balloon is still pulling us up towards the ceiling. Arms just relaxed by the side, shoulders back and down. So we want to think about each of the individual vertebrae within the spine. So we want to mobilize each one of them individually. So let's begin here by inhaling, filling the lungs with air. And as we exhale, we're going to begin dropping the chin towards the chest. So starting with our cervical spine again. Just gently allowing each vertebra to unravel. Allowing the arms to hang loose by the side, soft bend in the knee if you need to. So just coming down to a point where you can, again, keep control of the movement. You'll feel that stretch through the back of the legs. So just gently exhaling as you unravel down towards the floor. So if you can't reach the floor, that's fine. You'll still be having that stretch through the back of the legs. Working through the hamstrings, so it's all good stuff. Let's inhale here at the bottom. As we exhale, we're going to reverse that movement, but this time starting with the coccyx and the sacrum at the bottom of the spine. Stacking each vertebra one on top of the other. Moving up now through the middle back. Finishing with the shoulders, head floats on top. Inhaling here, we'll do one more. Exhale, let's gently drop the chin towards the chest, and as we come down now, we're going to come and come onto all fours. So just thinking about your spine as a piece of wallpaper that's coming off the wall, so slowly with control, one vertebra at a time. Feel that length through the back of the legs. Just taking a breath here. As you exhale, we're going to come onto all fours. If you've got problems with your knees, you can come and lie on your tummy and I'll give you an alternative to do, if you just bear with me a moment. So if you're on all fours, we're going to come down onto our elbows. The knees are going to come out behind us, so they're further back than they would normally be if we had our arms long. You just find that stability within the shoulders, activating through the abdominals. So as we did when we were standing, we just want to keep the spine nice and rigid, nice and stable. So inhaling here, as we exhale, we're just going to hinge through the elbows. So lowering the upper body down towards the floor. Inhaling here, as we exhale, we're going to push it back. If you're on your tummy, we're going to have the elbows tucked in, and we're just going to lift up into a low cobra, so not coming any further than the lower ribs. So you're still getting that sort of activation through the shoulders. Otherwise, we're on our elbows. Exhale, take it forward. Inhale here, exhale, take it back. So hinging through the knees and the elbows, keeping the spine as stable as possible. So feeling that strength here through the shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Exhale it down. Inhale here, exhale it up again. So just feel that control through the whole length of the spine. Inhale it up. Just going to sit back onto the heels, just releasing through the shoulders, taking the arms long in front of you. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to move up onto all fours. For those of you on your tummy, again, I'll give you a little adaptation in a moment. So we're going to come up onto all fours to start with, and then progressing into various stages up into our plank and then our leg pull. So just choose the layer that you're happy with. So we're just going to begin here by taking one leg backwards. So imagine that your leg is on a rail, keeping your toe in contact with the floor. Inhale, bring it back. Just taking it from side to side. So keeping the hips nice and level, imagining you've got a glass of water on your back, so you want to keep the lower back stable. If you're on your tummy, just relaxing the head down. We just want you to bring one heel towards your bum and then lower it down. So you're still getting that motion through the lower legs. Okay, otherwise we're taking the leg long and back to center. Exhale. Keeping the tummy button pulled in, so we want to keep the pelvis in neutral here again. Pushing away from the floor as well with the arms. So don't allow yourself to sag towards the floor. Keep the shoulders nice and active. Let's do a couple more each side. Again, just sit back on the heels to release. We're going to progress that now up into a plank. So if you're happy with that layer, you can stay there and just keep repeating left to right. So you're either here, or if you want to progress, we're going to take one leg out, the toes are turned under, and then take the other leg out. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, exhale, inhale it back. Otherwise, you're just staying with your leg extensions. So let's keep the abdominals pulled in. You want a nice straight line from your shoulders down to your heels. Inhale, bring it back again, strong through the shoulders. Exhale, inhale it back. Just feel the activity here within the abdominals to keep us lifted. Back to center. Let's do one more. Exhale it back. Inhale to center. Okay, again, sitting back on the heels, take the arms out long in front of you. If you're on your tummy, you can now, if you're comfortable, combine those two movements. So coming up into your cobra and taking one leg and the other leg up towards your bum. So a bit more strenuous here for the low back. So just choose the combination of those movements you're comfortable with. Okay, so for everybody else, Where are we? We're going to come back onto all fours. So again, I'm going to give you two options. So we're just going to begin with our Superman, with our legs. So as we exhale, we're going to take the leg behind us, lift it up to our hip height. So again, imagining that glass of water. So we don't want the hips to be tilting. We want to keep the hips as level as possible, pushing away from the mat. Exhale, lift that leg behind you. Exhale. So the Superman is a basis for lots of different movements. So normally we would add an arm as well. But this time we're building up into our leg pull. So if you want to join me on that one, you can do. We'll do one more on this side. Again, just sitting back on the heels at any time, just to release the pressure through the arms. Pushing away from the mat. If you're happy with just taking your legs out behind you, you can do. Otherwise, we're going to come up into our plank. And as we exhale, we're going to lift the toes off the floor. Inhale back to center. Exhale. So really squeezing the bum here, keeping that connection through the arms. Tummy button is pulled in, keeping the spine as stable as possible. Exhale. We'll do one more on each side. Whichever layer you're working at, this is your last set. Exhale, coming down onto the knees, one at a time, nice and gently. Just pushing back again onto the heels. So that's the tough bit over with. We're now going to come and lie on our tummies, give the arms a bit of a rest. The arms are coming out long in front, toes are pointed. So again, imagine that they're being pulled to opposite ends of the room, really lengthening through the spine. And whilst we're in this position, we're just going to check in with our pelvis. So find the point of contact with the hip bones and the mat beneath you. Inhale here as we exhale, let's tilt the pelvis under. So feel the tummy begin to lift from the floor. Inhale again, exhale, let's tilt the pelvis forward so the tailbone lifts up towards the ceiling. So just taking it backwards and forwards. Coming to rest in that midway point, you've got that contact with the pubic bone and the hip bones. So we're going to build up now into our swimming, which works with the extensor chain through the back of the body. So we're just going to begin by inhaling. As we exhale, let's just float one hand off the floor. If you want a little cushion or something under your forehead, you can do, otherwise the head is just slightly hovered. Exhale, let's take the opposite hand forward. Toes are pointed, so the legs here are still active. We're just raising alternate arms. Exhale. Keeping the tummy button pulled in here as well, so we're working against gravity to keep our core stable. Exhale. Let's do two more on each side. Exhale, really lifting up through the shoulders, squeeze to lift. Gently lower it down, last one. So we're giving the arms a little bit of a rest. If you want to bring them under your head, you can do. So we're going to do the same thing now with the legs, but just be mindful to activate the movement from the glutes, so we're not bending the knee. The movement is coming from here, so providing that strength and that support for the low back. Inhale, as we exhale, let's lift that leg away from the floor, so pushing the hip bone in towards the mat. So we're just isolating that leg, pointing through the toe. So just moving it from side to side. Slow, controlled movements, just making sure the leg is going up and down and not deviating to the side. Let's do a couple more on each side. We're just lifting and lowering at your own pace. Feel those bum muscles working. Exhale. Exhale, gently lower it back down. So if you are ready to progress to the next stage, we're now going to do the arms and legs together. If not, then you can just stick with the arms or just stick with the legs. So just choosing the level that you're comfortable with, and then over time with more practice, then you'll be able to progress it up. So it's a good way of measuring your own progress. So taking the arms forward again. Inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to lift one arm and the opposite leg. So working in diagonal across the back of the body. Exhale. So squeezing the bum and the shoulder here, but keeping everything stable and in contact with the mat. So working again from the core. Exhale. Exhale, lift it up. Let's do 2 more on each side. So really lengthening through the toe, through the fingers, feel the extension through the back of the body. Exhale. Gently lower it down, just take a couple of breaths here. Okay, so again, if you're happy at that level, you can stay at that level. Otherwise, we're now going to lift all of the arms and legs together. So really working into those muscles in the back, really working into the glutes and the shoulders as well. So inhaling here as we exhale, let's float the hands and the feet off the floor. So extending through the spine, inhale, lower it back down. Exhale, let's go again. So as you exhale, feel the tummy button pulling towards the spine. Inhale it down. Exhale, lifting here through the glutes, so be mindful not to lead with the knee. Lower it back down. Can we do one more? Exhale, let's lift. Really emptying the lungs as you lift up. Inhale, bring it back down. Well done. Hopefully you're still with me. So we've got one more layer to add to this. So if you want a bit more of a challenge, you can join me. Otherwise, carry on working at your current level. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the arms and feet off the floor. Inhaling here as we exhale, we're going to paddle opposite arms and legs. So 5 exhales, 5 inhales. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Yeah, just working at your own pace. So working on our coordination, the strength within our spine, squeezing those glutes, keeping everything hovered off the floor. If you need a little gap between each set, you can do. Exhale for 5. Inhale for 5. Can we do one more? Exhale. Let's gently lower it down, stretching out through the whole of the body. Okay, so bringing the arms under the armpits, just pushing ourselves up. We're going to come into a seated position. So a little bit different tonight, a little bit more challenging, but hopefully you've found a layer that you're happy with. Now it should never be painful, but you should certainly feel something working. That's what it's all about. Okay. So we're going to now work up towards our teaser, which is the stability within the pelvis, works really deep within the core, but as with all of the movements, there's that gradual progression to build up to it. So we're going to start with our legs bent in front of us, feet again a hip distance apart. Just placing the hands behind the thighs for support. Standing tall through the spine, just resting on those sit bones at the bottom of the pelvis. So as we did earlier, we want to be moving the upper body as a whole, so the spine stays nice and rigid. So let's inhale as we prepare. Inhale as we prepare, as we exhale, let's hinge it back. So starting to straighten through the arms, just feeling the abdominals start to engage here, keeping contact with the feet. Inhale, bring it back up to seated. Exhale, hinging it back, elbows are tucked in. Bringing it back up to center. Exhale it down, we'll do 2 more. Inhale it back, feel the thighs starting to work here as well. Exhale. Inhaling it back, just taking the knees wide for a moment, folding forward, just releasing some of the pressure through the legs and the lower back. Just take a couple of breaths. And we're going to come back into our position. Okay, so now if you're ready to progress, as we hinge back, we're just going to hobble one foot off the floor. Bring it back to center. Okay, so as we exhale, let's hinge and let's lift that foot off the floor. Bring it back. So just keeping the pelvis nice and stable, a bit easier in this position because it's in contact with the floor. Inhale it back to center, keeping the tummy button pulled in at all times. Again, it will help us keep us upright and stop us falling backwards. So we want to keep that core control throughout. Exhale. Let's do one more on the other side. Bringing it up. Back to center. So you can stay with that layer. If you want to take it up as we come backwards, now we're going to straighten one leg. So pointing the toes towards the end of the room. Bring it back to center. So just hinging here at your own pace. So we just want to hinge it back to a point where you've got control of that movement. The abdominals are working nice and hard. And then we bring it back. Exhale, let's hinge, pointing those toes. Bringing it back. So your thighs now should start to be nice and warmed up. You feel something working into the hip area as well. Let's do one more each side. Keeping long here through the spine. Exhale. It can be quite challenging on the lower back, this movement, so let's take it forward, just release some of that pressure. Taking the knees out to the side. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Bringing it back up to center. So the final stage now of our teaser. So we'll build up to that. So we're going to keep the knees bent to start with. Hands are still tucked under our legs. Inhale as we exhale and hinge back. We're just going to lift both feet off the floor now. Inhale back to center. So we just want that hinging movement and the legs are going to come and follow. So working deeper into the abdominals, pelvic floor is working nice and hard here too to provide that support around the lower pelvis. Exhale. Hovering both feet off the floor. If you're feeling brave, now you can take the hands away, take the arms out in front of you. So providing a bit of a counterbalance. Back to center. Okay, let's do one more of these and we're going to progress to our final level. So just working with what you're comfortable with. So now as we exhale, we're going to take both of the legs long. So coming into our full teaser position, feel that core working nice and hard. Inhale, let's drop the knees back down. Come back up to seated, so always coming back to that nice long spine in between. Exhale, let's hinge back. Lift the toes or take the legs long. Squeezing the legs together, provide a little bit more support and stability. Inhale, let's bring it back. Let's do one more now. Exhale. Lifting those legs, feel those thighs working. Everything is coming from your core here. Inhale, gently lower it down. Take the knees wide, let's fold it forward. Well done, that was a tough one. So well done if you got all the way. Take it forward, just enjoy this stretch. So our legs now are going to come out in front of us. So changing the position of the legs, so we want to just readjust the pelvis, just to find those sit bones again, finding that natural curve in the low back. The legs are just going to come slightly wider than hip distance. So just providing a bit more of an anchor at the front. Let's flex the toes up towards the ceiling, so pulling the toes in towards the shins. Inhale, taking the arms up to shoulder height. And now we're going to mobilize through our spine. So as we did when we did our roll down from standing, as we exhale, let's just start to turn the tailbone under, collapsing through the middle. Just keeping the legs active and stable. So just feel the tummy button coming in towards the spine. Chin comes in towards the chest. Inhale, let's bring it back up tall. So lengthening out now into our neutral spine. Exhale, let's collapse again through the middle into our C curve. We're going to hold this position now within the spine. As we exhale, we're going to reach forward towards the feet. So we're extending through the shoulders. The middle section is collapsed and compressed. The arms are still floating at shoulder height. Feel that stretch through the back of the legs. Inhale, let's bring the shoulders back in line with the hips, coming to sit up tall. We'll do one more of those. So inhale here, exhale, let's collapse through that spine. Squeezing the air out of the lungs. Inhale here. As we exhale, let's reach the hands forward towards the feet. Stretching through the hamstrings and through the calves, the lower legs. Just enjoying the spine. Stretch, taking the hands forward. Feel stretch through the shoulders. Inhale, let's gently lower the arms down. Come back up to neutral spine. Let's give the legs a little bit of a shake. Fabulous, well done. So we're now going to go into our roll down, and then we're going to stay lying down on the mat, do some work into our legs. So I'm going to give you two positions for the legs here. They can be bent. So this is the less intense option. Otherwise, the legs are coming long. Again, feet are flexed in this position just to add a little bit of extra length to the back of the legs. Arms are coming out in front of us again. So we're going into the same position with our spine. If your legs are bent, you can hold the back of the legs or have the arms out wide. So inhaling here, let's just begin again collapsing our spine. So starting taking that tailbone under. Feel the chin come in towards the chest, feet are flexed and active. So we want to imagine squeezing something between our thighs. So keeping the thighs active to help with our stability. Coming up onto those sit bones. Exhale, let's take it down. So just hinging, just C-curving to that point again where you can control it, feel the abdominals working. Bring it back to center. And now we're going to go into a full roll down. So we're going to allow the spine to make contact with the mat, just gently lowering ourselves down into a lying position. So you can do it either from your crook position or with your legs straight. So if your legs are straight, let's flex those feet. Inhale as we exhale, just gently lowering down one vertebra at a time towards the mat. Keep that core control. Try to allow each segment to move individually and at the same pace. Gently coming to rest now with the shoulders. Head is the last thing to land, just gently lowering the head onto the mat. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Just enjoying this little lie down for a moment. Don't get too comfortable. Okay. So we're going to bring the legs up into a bent position again. Just resting the arms down by the sides. So again, just finding our neutral pelvis. So as you tilt the pelvis forward, you should find that arch through the low back. To tilt the pelvis backwards, your lower back will flatten. So just coming to rest in that midway point of neutral, feet are hip distance apart. So let's take a big inhale here, and as we exhale, taking one leg long towards the end of your mat. So lengthening through the toe. Inhale, let's bring that leg back. Let's take it the opposite way. Exhale. Inhale, bring it back. So we're going to progress up to our single leg stretch, which works coordination, again works into our core. And some activation also into the hips. So let's do one more on each side. Take the toe long away from you. Exhale it away. Bring it back to center. If you want to add another little layer to this, as we take the leg long, we're just going to slide the hands towards the feet. So we're lifting up through the head, neck and shoulders. So starting to work through our abdominals here. Inhale, slide the leg back, gently lower the head down. Exhale, take it the other way. So allowing the exhale to last for the whole of the movement, just to provide that extra support to the core. Exhale, let's do one more of those each side. So lifting up through the head, neck and shoulders if you want to progress, keeping the chin tucked into the chest. Last one, exhale. Lengthening through the toes and through the fingers. Bring it back to center. So we're now going to bring one leg up into a tabletop position. So the other leg can stay where it is, just providing that base of support. Hands are again resting by the side. So as we inhale, we're just going to bring that knee closer in towards the chest. As we exhale, the leg is going to come long. Inhale, bring that knee in towards you. Exhale, bring it long. So just be conscious here of the position of the pelvis. So we don't want the pelvis to be rocking. So we're working into those deep abdominals, using our pelvic floor. So keeping the movement slow and controlled. So just isolating through one leg at the moment. Bringing it in as you inhale. Exhale, take it long. Try and take the leg a little bit lower as you extend it out. But using the abdominals to prevent the lower back from arching. Let's do one more. Gently lower it down. So let's take the opposite leg now up into our tabletop position. Inhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. Exhale, let's lengthen it long. So really lengthening through the toes. So again, just working through that single plane of motion. So we're just going forwards and backwards. So just working through our hip flexors. Exhale. Inhale it back. So just feel that flow within the movement. You might feel a clump through the hip like I do. Good to keep it active and mobile. Keep the joint nice and healthy. Exhale. Inhale it back. Let's do two more. Last one now. Lowering that heel down towards the floor. Inhale, bring it back. Just bring both knees in now towards the chest. Just give yourself a little hug just to shorten through the thigh muscles, just to release the lower back. Okay. So we're going to go into our single leg stretch now. So I'm going to give two variations again. So we're going to start with one leg bent. If you want to progress, we're going to take the bottom leg long, but just being mindful of the lower back. So we don't want the lower back to lift. So really working deep into those abdominals. The other leg is coming in towards the chest. We want our outside arm on our ankle, not inside arm on our thigh. Inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to swap the legs round. So the other leg is coming long. And the position of the arms as well. So the outside arm is always on the ankle. The inside arm is always on the thigh. Exhale. Exhale, take it the other way. So working almost in a pedaling motion. So again, if you want to progress further, the last stage of this movement, we're going to lift the head, neck and shoulders as well. So exhale as you lift the head, neck and shoulders. Inhale to swap. Exhale, bring the knee in toward you. So we're staying lifted here, so the abdominals are constantly active. If that's too much, you can take the head down. You can take one leg down towards the floor. Just find the layer that's suitable for you, that you're comfortable with. You feel challenged, but you're not in pain. And most importantly, that you're not losing your posture, so keeping your core active. Let's do one more each side. Exhale. Exhale. Bring the knees in. Gently lower the head down. Roll your legs from side to side. Well done. That was a tough one. So we've gone through quite a few of the 34 Pilates movements today, and their various sort of regressions. So we might do a few more next week, just add a little bit of spice. Okay, how are we for time? Okie dokie. So we're just going to do some leg circles, some hip circles, just to work deep into our ball and socket joint in our hips. Then we'll do a little bit of stretching and then some relaxation. So we're going to bring our legs back into crook, so in a bent position. One leg is coming long. So the sort of higher the leg is, the harder it is. So we want more control over our core. Just want to rotate the legs slightly outwards, so the knee is coming out to the side, just to activate through the side of the glutes here. Inhaling, as we exhale, we're just going to make little circles with the toe. So just imagine you've got that pencil on your big toe, just drawing little circles in the sky. So the smaller and slower your movement, the more control you have. Once you feel you have that control in your hips, your pelvis is stable, you can then speed it up and or take it a little bit wider. But the key here is control and precision. So if your pelvis is rocking, then just take it down a little bit. Let's do one more this way. Back to center. So we exhale, let's take it around the other way. So inhale as you come to the top, exhale as you bring it round. Keeping that external rotation through the hip just to feel more of that movement into the bum. Let's do 3 more. That's 2. 1. Inhale, bring that knee in towards your chest. Just give it a little bit of a hug. Just relieve that hip flexor. Gently lower it back down to join the other foot. Taking the other leg long now, so just taking it to the height that you're comfortable with. Just resting the arms by the sides for a bit of an anchor. Inhale here. As we exhale, engage those abdominals and let's start circling that leg out towards the side. External rotation through the hip again, so the heel is coming toward your midsection. Let's do another 4 in this direction, keeping that length through the toe, so the toe is getting pulled up towards the ceiling. Inhale as you come back round to center, exhale it round the other way. Last 4 now. Inhaling on the effort, inhaling to prepare and exhaling on the effort. Last 1. Bring it back down to center now, just allowing the legs to fall outwards, so opening out through the hips, just coming into our butterfly stretch. Just beginning to breathe naturally now as well. Just bringing the knees back together. We're now going to take the arms overhead. And as we exhale, just reaching one hand up towards the ceiling. So imagine you're lying under an apple tree and you're just picking all the apples one at a time, just gently lifting alternate shoulders off the floor. So rotating through the shoulder girdle. Exhale. Exhale it up. A couple more. Lowering the arms back down by the sides. So just taking them out at a bit of an angle just to provide a little bit of an anchor for you. As we exhale, we're going to drop the knees down towards the floor. So rotating here through the spine, taking the head in the opposite direction. Feel that nice stretch towards the whole length of the spine. Breathing deeply into the rib cage, feel the top rib fill with air. Inhale, let's bring the legs back to center. Exhale, take it over the other way. Head moves in the opposite direction. Inhale, let's bring it back. We're now going to take the legs long, so take the legs towards the end of your mat. Arms are going to come overhead, so coming into a full body stretch. Just feel the length through the arms, through the legs, and through the midsection as well. Just breathing naturally. It's beginning to wind down. Okay, inhale, let's bring the arms back down by the sides. So moving now into our relaxation. So please do put on any additional layers because it gets chilly quite quickly in this winter weather. So if you've got a jumper, socks, a blanket, whatever you need for the next few minutes. So coming to rest in your place of comfort just for 5 minutes or so. You've earned it after that session. That was a tough one, but good to keep you on your toes and keep you progressing through your practice. So coming to find your place of comfort, just taking a few breaths to adjust. Gently closing the eyes. Just bringing a sense of awareness to the space around you. Any smells, any sounds, any sensations, just noticing, just allowing them to be. Just bringing your awareness now to your body. Noticing how it feels after your fairly tough session this evening. Just feel how heavy the body feels on the surface beneath you. Just allowing the body to give in to the floor, to the mat. Just coming now to the breath. Just noticing the rise and fall of the chest or of the belly. Just allow the breath to move deeper into the belly as you begin to relax. Noticing how each breath is different from the last. Maybe it's deeper, more shallow, longer or shorter. Just notice how the body begins to soften and open with each exhale. Just moving your focus now towards your head, feeling its weight on the mat beneath you. As you exhale, just beginning to soften through the face, through the brow, and through the jaw. gently letting go of any tension or discomfort with each exhale. Allowing the shoulders to fall away from the ears. Allowing the shoulders and the upper back to give in to the mat beneath you. Feel them soften and open as you exhale. Feeling the weight of the arms. Noticing the natural curl of the fingers as your arms and hands begin to relax. Softening through the rib cage, through the mid-back. Just noticing any tension or discomfort. Allowing it to soften and release as you exhale. Feeling the weight of the pelvis and of the hips on the surface beneath you. Softening through the buttocks, through the thighs, allowing them to feel heavy and soft as you begin to relax. Allowing the kneecaps to drop, releasing any tension or discomfort through the lower leg. Allowing each of those little muscles in the feet to soften and let go of any tension. Just gently scanning now from your toes back up to your head. If you encounter any tension or discomfort on the way, just taking a moment to notice that feeling, allowing it to release and soften as you exhale. So noticing how the body feels, every part relaxed and softened. Just beginning to breathe a little bit deeper now. Beginning to bring some fresh oxygen to the muscles. Starting to bring your awareness back into the space around you. Just gently starting to move the fingers and the toes. Circling the head from side to side. Maybe just inhaling, taking the arms overhead, just waking up your upper body. Gently opening the eyes when you're ready, releasing your arms and bringing yourself back up to seated. Thank you all very much for joining me. Sorry I've run over, but I didn't want to deny you your relaxation. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a tough session tonight, but hopefully you found your flow, found your layer, and you feel a little bit stronger for it. So thank you all very much. Hopefully I'll see you on Sunday.